Welcome to The Daily Scope, your lens into the pivotal moments that shape our world. Today, we mark a significant milestone, the 10th anniversary of Euromaidan, a series of events that forever altered the course of Eastern European history. In this special episode, our host Jack Taylor, who witnessed the Euromaidan protests firsthand, shares his unique perspective on those tumultuous days. Jack's experience at the heart of the uprising offers a deeply personal and insightful take on the events that unfolded. But that's not all. Today, we'll also hear a compelling recording from Alexei, a friend of Jack's who found himself engulfed in the chaos of Euromaidan. Alexei's account provides a raw, unfiltered glimpse into the reality of those on the ground during this critical juncture in history. Join us on The Daily Scope as we journey back to the streets of Ukraine, reliving the passion, the fear, and the hope that defined Euromaidan. And now here is your host, Jack Taylor.
Welcome back to The Daily Scope. I'm Jack Taylor. Today's episode is one that's close to my heart. 10 years ago, as a correspondent for an unnamed news agency, I found myself in the heart of Kyiv during the Euromaidan. It was an assignment that would forever change my perspective and ultimately my career path. I met a diverse array of individuals in Kyiv, from westernized liberals to anti-establishment rioters, from law enforcement to local authorities. Two encounters, however, profoundly shaped my understanding of the conflict. A harrowing experience with the Azov battalion and a revealing conversation with Alexei, a man from Donbas who had come to counter-protest what he saw as a coup attempt. The aggression of the neo-Nazi ultranationalists and the sorrow in Alexei's voice from Donbas left an indelible mark on me. These experiences pulled me away from the mainstream narrative, and in speaking out, I found myself ostracized by the media community I was a part of. But looking back, I wouldn't change a thing. It's led me here to The Daily Scope, where we dare to explore the untold stories. Reflecting on a decade since Euromaidan, we're reminded of its tragic toll. Over 10,000 civilians killed, military casualties reaching into the hundreds of thousands, and more than 10 million people displaced. It's a stark reminder of the humanitarian crisis that unfolded and the devastating loss of life that ensued. This week, I reconnected with Alexei, whom I've kept in touch with over the years. His stories, filled with heartbreak and resilience, have only strengthened my resolve to share the voices of those like him from Eastern Ukraine. Unfortunately, Alexei couldn't join us today due to ongoing conflicts in Avdiivka, but I have an interview recording with him that we'll share, offering a raw and personal perspective from the heart of Donbas. Stay with us as we dive into this poignant reflection, a decade since the tumultuous events of the Euromaidan, through the eyes of those who lived it. This is The Daily Scope, bringing you the stories from the shadows of mainstream narratives.
Yes, Jack, thank you. I was in Kyiv, during Euromaidan. It was, a harrowing time. I went there because I wanted to understand, to see with my own eyes. But what I saw, it was chaos, fear. Mobs were everywhere. I remember I was walking with my brother Nikolai, and suddenly we were surrounded by a group of angry protesters. They were shouting, accusing us of being traitors because we spoke Russian. We tried to explain, but they wouldn't listen. It was terrifying. And then my cousin Anna, she was hit by a stray bullet. Just like that, she was gone. We couldn't believe it. I remember talking to you, Jack, about it, telling you how it felt like the country was tearing apart. After that, I knew I had to leave Kyiv. I had to go back to Donbas, to my hometown. The journey back was, it was difficult. I kept thinking, what's happening to my country? Everywhere, people were choosing sides. But for me, for many of us in Donbas, it wasn't that simple. Our family, we have roots in both Ukraine and Russia. My uncle Sergei, he used to say, we can't cut ourselves in half. And he was right. In Donbas, we just wanted to live in peace, but everything was changing so fast. Coming back to Donbas, it was a relief, but also painful. Seeing my family, my friends, also scared, so uncertain about the future, it was then I realized this was just the beginning of something much bigger, much more painful.
Welcome to Bubble Galaxy, the ultimate space adventure toy. With just a push of a button, our special bubble wand creates shimmering bubbles, each showing a mini galaxy. See the Milky Way twinkle in a bubble? It's a galaxy dance party. So many stars! It's beautiful! But in the shadows of space, a terrifying truth awaits. The black hole, a merciless void, its cruel hunger devours stars, dreams, entire galaxies. A cosmic graveyard, silent and ruthless. Fear not, explorers. We return to the safety of our bubbles. Here's the Orion Nebula, swirling with vibrant colors. It's like a space rainbow. Yet, beware, the emptiness of space, a vast and cruel expanse. A place of isolation where the cold grip of eternity reigns. Here in the abyss, hope fades into the endless night. Back in our bubble galaxy, the adventure continues. Each bubble a celebration of the universe's beauty. Space is so amazing with Bubble Galaxy. Join us on this epic journey. Create your own galaxy bubbles and discover the wonders of the universe.
And we're back on the Daily Scope. If you're just joining us, you missed some intriguing advertising choices, and if anyone is hearing this wanting to advertise and is in line with what we are doing here on the Daily Scope, please do get in touch. I never thought I'd say this, but today we transition from the whimsical world of bubble wands to the weightier matters at hand. Let's refocus. Our lens today is not just on the Euromaidan anniversary, but also on how stories are told. Take, for instance, Mick Hall from Radio New Zealand. His editorial choices on the Ukraine conflict ignited debates over media bias and the fine line journalists tread. Hall's stance was met with strong opposition from RNZ and Broadcasting Minister Willie Jackson, leading to a thorough investigation. His case is a poignant reminder of the complexities in reporting on contentious global issues. Intriguingly, it was a lawyer from New York connected to the Democratic Party who brought international attention to this issue. It's a testament to the far-reaching implications of media narratives and their global resonance. Hall, a seasoned journalist, stood firm in his commitment to unbiased reporting, despite facing isolation from his peers and limited union support. His struggle underscores the personal costs often paid by those who challenge mainstream narratives. This vignette from New Zealand serves as a powerful backdrop as we return to the heart of today's episode. All right, shifting gears from that brief detour, let's dive deeper into the Euromaidan timeline. As Alexei just shared with us, we paused our story at the tumultuous coup in Kyiv. Now let's pick up the threads and walk through the unfolding events, painting a vivid picture of those crucial moments. In this segment, we delve deeper into the aftermath of the Euromaidan movement and how it ignited a complex and tragic conflict in eastern Ukraine, particularly in the Donbas region. The new Ukrainian government, formed in the wake of Euromaidan, faced immediate challenges. Among the most pressing was the response from the eastern part of the country. In regions like Donetsk and Luhansk, the shift in power was not only met with skepticism, but outright rejection. Here the narrative diverged significantly from the one prevalent in Western Ukraine. The people of Donbas, with their deep cultural and linguistic ties to Russia, felt marginalized by a government they viewed as influenced by nationalist and even far-right elements like the Azov Battalion. their response a push for autonomy and for some outright independence. This period was marked by a rapid escalation of events. In April 2014, just months after the revolution, the Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics were declared. What followed was a conflict that has since claimed thousands of lives and displaced even more. The role of the Ukrainian military and battalions like Azov in this conflict is critical and contentious. Reports of human rights abuses, indiscriminate shelling of civilian areas, and the targeting of ethnic Russian communities in these regions have been a subject of international concern. But as always, there are multiple sides to every story. The Ukrainian government, supported by the West, saw these separatist movements as a direct threat to the country's sovereignty, possibly orchestrated by external forces. Meanwhile, many in Donbas viewed their struggle as a fight for survival, for preserving their identity against what they perceived as an oppressive and alien regime in Kyiv. As we discuss these events, it's crucial to understand the power of narrative. In the West, the conflict is often seen through the lens of Russian aggression and territorial ambition. In eastern Ukraine, it's a narrative of resistance, of people defending their right to self-determination in the face of what they see as a nationalist-driven government. Here is Alexei again as he continues with his account of the events that unfolded after the Euromaidan.
Jack, after that day, for me, everything, it's like days and nights, they just blend. In Slavyansk, my life, it was like living under a constant shadow of death. One day, I remember I had to flee with my mother when they shelled our neighborhood. It was madness, Jack. Shells, they fell like a relentless rain. We lived in darkness, no electricity, no water, no gas. Hiding in basements, we were too scared to even breathe out loud. Our phones, useless, dead. Cut off from the world, we felt like forgotten souls. Svyatogorsk, it became a sanctuary, but even there, the sounds of war were a constant echo, a reminder of our broken lives. You know, Jack, I heard stories, so many stories of death and loss, but it's different when it hits your own family. My cousin Misha, he was just out getting food. A shell hit nearby. He never made it back. I remember the numbness, the disbelief. It was like a part of me just vanished with him. Then there was my neighbor, Olga. She was like an aunt to me. One morning, we just found her. Gone. Shrapnel. It's one thing to hear about these tragedies, Jack, but to see them, to live them, it's indescribable. And the day we fled, my heart shattered. My father, he stayed back, said he would follow. But that was the last time I saw him. I still don't know what happened to him. Yeah, is this not knowing, Jack? It eats at you every single day. We reached Svyatogorsk, but it was no paradise. Thousands like us, all with their own stories of horror and loss. I tried to find solace, tried to start over. But how do you start over when every piece of you is scattered back there, in the ruins of what used to be your home? I remember Andrei Vorobyev's words, everyone who could leave, left, only corpses and the elderly remain. That's what Slavyansk turned into, Jack. A ghost town haunted by memories of those we lost. This war, Jack, it's more than just physical destruction. It's the death of dreams, of families, of everything we held dear. And for what? Survival? Independence? Sometimes I wonder if we lost more than we ever had. War. It changes you, Jack. It strips away everything, leaving nothing but ashes, tears, and this deep, unending emptiness. I'm sorry, Jack. I can't.
With our all-new headset compatible with Implant X, you can live a more immersive game-like experience, seamlessly blending the virtual and the real, and transforming everyday tasks into exciting adventures. Welcome to Life Gamify, where we turn life's drudgery into a thrilling game. Staring into the abyss of your laundry basket? In Life Gamify, it's a deep dive into the fabric ocean, where missing socks hint at otherworldly mysteries. Uncover the secrets of the Bermuda Sock Triangle. Another soul-sucking day at the office? Transform it into an epic space battle in your cubicle command center. Each task completed is a starship saved from the black hole of boredom. Family drama? It's no longer a burden, but a critically acclaimed drama series. Score points for every overacted scene and win awards for your melodramatic flair? Drowning in bills? They're not just bills. They're high scores in the ultimate game of survival. Each payment is a victorious battle in the financial war zone. Struggling with existential dread. With Life Gamify, every deep thought becomes a punchline in the grand cosmic joke. Embrace the absurdity and score big. Life Gamify, where every mundane moment is a chance to play, score, and laugh in the face of life's chaos. Let the games begin.
Welcome back to our in-depth series on the crisis in eastern Ukraine. In this final segment, we explore the complexities surrounding the Donetsk People's Republic, or DPR, and Russia's involvement in the region. This story, unfolding for nearly a decade, is steeped in conflict, controversy, and a quest for identity. The Donbas region, with its rich cultural and historical tapestry, has become the epicenter of a violent struggle. In the wake of the Euromaidan and subsequent political turmoil, many here felt marginalized, leading to the formation of the DPR. Their push for independence was a reaction to what they saw as a coup in Kyiv, one not reflective of their interests or their vision for Ukraine. Russia's increasingly significant role in this saga is multifaceted, initially viewed by many in the DPR as protectors. Russia's involvement, while bolstering the independence movement, also carried its own motivations and geopolitical ambitions. Today, the situation remains grim. The once prosperous region is now marred by decay and conflict, leaving its residents ensnared in an unending battle. The intervention, greeted initially with optimism, has morphed into a protracted deadlock, plunging the people of Donbas into lingering uncertainty. The possibility of NATO ground troop involvement, as hinted by French President Emmanuel Macron, casts a new and ominous shadow over the crisis. Konstantin Kosachev, Deputy Speaker of the Russian Federation Council, starkly warns that such an action could be seen as direct participation in hostilities or even a declaration of war. This raises the specter of a full-scale conflict between nuclear-armed powers, a chilling prospect with potentially catastrophic consequences for the entire planet. In this context, the European Union's extensive engagement in this conflict takes on an even more significant meaning. Since the onset of the Russian incursion into Ukraine in February 2022, the EU has provided over $88 billion in economic, humanitarian, and military support to Ukraine. This substantial investment, while aimed at supporting Ukraine, also reflects the profound international dimensions and complexities of the eastern Ukrainian crisis. Moreover, this situation underscores a sobering reality. The vast resources being poured into this war could have been directed towards uplifting people and communities. The risk of escalating this conflict into a full-scale nuclear war is not just a threat to regional stability, but poses an existential danger to our planet. However, amidst these rising tensions, there lies a potential path to de-escalation. Recognizing the new republics, the DPR and LPR, might present a way to peace. This move could resonate with the aspirations of those in the Donbas and might help to prevent the conflict from escalating further. While this approach is fraught with challenges and debates, it could be a pivotal step in resolving a conflict that has profoundly affected the region and its inhabitants. As the 10th anniversary of the Euromaidan approaches, the legacy of this movement remains complex and tragic. What began as a pursuit of change has evolved into a drawn-out, devastating conflict, leaving an indelible mark on millions. As we come to the end of our in-depth exploration of the crisis in eastern Ukraine, it's crucial to remember the human stories at the heart of this conflict. We now return to the third and final part of our pre-recorded interview with Alexei from Slavyansk. The last time we left Alexei, he shared the harrowing reality of living under constant threat, the pain of personal loss, and the haunting uncertainty surrounding his father's fate. Let's listen in as Alexei continues to share his deeply personal journey through the turmoil of war, giving us a glimpse into the soul of a region torn apart by conflict and the resilience of those who have endured unimaginable hardships. His story is a stark reminder of the immeasurable human cost of this war, a cost that extends far beyond the battlefield. Alexei's voice, filled with a mixture of sorrow and strength, brings us back to the essence of this crisis, a human crisis. His experiences and those of countless others like him underscore the urgent need for a resolution that honors the dignity and aspirations of all people affected by this conflict. Now, let's hear from Alexei.
Jack, I thank you for letting me share, how you say, my story. Maybe someone listens, understands it's not just black and white in war. Yes, more complicated, like shades of gray. Every side, they have their reasons, their pain. My journey, it was never simple, Jack. Before all this, I was just a man living life, But then war came like a storm. It took everything, my home, my family, my peace. In Slavyansk, when the fighting started, I tried to stay away. But war, it doesn't ask, it just takes. My cousin, friends, gone. I was lost, Jack. Then there came a day I never forget. They came to our door, DPR soldiers. They said, "We need you, brother, to protect our land, our people." I said, "No, I'm no soldier." But they said, "Look outside, Alexei. It's war. You fight or you watch your world burn." I had no choice, Jack. It was like the war swallowed me whole. You ask about battles, yes. I remember the siege of Mariupol. The city, it was a maze of death. Buildings crumbling, streets filled with echoes of gunfire. I saw comrades fall, young men with dreams and families. Each loss, it scars you, Jack. And the Battle of Debaltseve, it was a nightmare. We were surrounded, cut off, fighting day and night against a relentless enemy. The cold, the fear, it was suffocating. I remember looking at the sky, praying for an end, but the end, it never came easy. Then there was the fight for Donetsk airport. Such a brutal battle over a place of, how you say, planes and travels. But in war, every inch of land becomes precious. We fought for days, weeks. I saw the best and worst of men there, Jack. Courage and horror side by side. Then battles across Siversky Donets River, fierce without stop. We try to push, but resistance is strong. But fall of Lysychansk, Jack, it was a big moment for us. We take control of Luhansk Oblast. Goal we want long time. But destruction, loss of life, it heavy on me. And Kramatorsk, Slovyansk, these places, Ukraine has them. But whispers say, maybe not for long. Russians, they push more. Maybe try change things. It's like game of chess, but with lives, not pieces. Strategy of smaller traps, not big ones. We learn it. But every win, every loss, it stay in heart. And now, Jack, I am heading to Avdiivka. This place like, how you say, pot boiling, ready to overflow. Both sides, they want it, they fight hard. It shows how tough both sides. But, Jack, I say in heart, I feel only tired. Our land, it broken like glass smashed. People I know, love, gone. At start, when Russia come, we have hope, but now it's different. Our land is just empty, full of ghosts. And this war, not just about Donbas or Ukraine, it's bigger, like dark cloud over us. More weapons, more soldiers from America and NATO. It's like they give war food, keep it alive. No one win, Jack. Only, how you say, war wins. I pray, Jack, for peace, for end. But in heart, I see no end. Just more fight, more pain. I wish for day when I wake, no more bombs, no more fear. But this day, it feels very far away.
As we close today's episode of the Daily Scope, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to Alexei for sharing his deeply moving story with us. His narrative serves as a powerful reminder of the personal toll of conflict and the strength of the human spirit. Reflecting on today's poignant account, it's crucial to consider how narratives shape our understanding of war. And often we are led to believe in the existence of enemies, not just on battlefields, but in our own minds. These narratives can sometimes blind us to the common humanity we all share, leading us down paths of conflict and misunderstanding. War isn't merely about the clashing of armies. It's more profoundly about the clashing of the stories we've been told and the ones we tell ourselves. Remember, the greatest victories are those that bridge divides, not those that weaken them. Blessed are the peacemakers. Thank you for joining us on the Daily Scope. Tune in again next week as we continue to delve deep and uncover the layers beneath the headlines. Until then, keep seeking the truth beyond the scope. And remember, peace isn't just the absence of war, but the presence of understanding. This is Jack Taylor signing off. Stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay connected.
Thank you for tuning in to The Daily Scope. Every week, we bring you stories that dive deep beneath the surface of global events, narrated with perspectives that challenge and enlighten. Remember to subscribe and follow The Daily Scope on your favorite podcast platform. Stay with us on this journey of discovery and insight, and don't miss our next episode, where we continue to explore the stories that shape our world. The Daily Scope, uncovering layers, revealing truths. Until next time, keep questioning, keep listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude today's episode, I have a solemn update to share with you. At the beginning of our podcast, I mentioned that Alexei was unable to join us. The reason was that he had headed into battle in Avdiivka, a place that has seen more than its fair share of sorrow and strife. Since then, I have been tirelessly trying to reach him, clinging to hope amidst silence. It is with a heavy heart that I inform you, our listeners, that Alexei, whose voice and story have become a part of this podcast's soul, has passed away. The news came as a shock. A friendly fire incident, a tragic drone mishap, took away a man who had become more than just a subject of our episodes. Alexei's story, his struggles and hopes resonated deeply with many of us. As this loss is profound, not just for me, but for everyone who has followed our journey into the heart of the conflict in eastern Ukraine. Alexei was more than just a voice on the airwaves. He was a symbol of the human aspect of war, a beacon of the untold stories that often get lost in the broader narrative. His passing is a stark reminder of the fragility of life, especially in a war-torn region where each day is a battle for survival. Alexei's narrative was a rare glimpse into the life of someone caught in the crossfire of a conflict that is far more complex and heartbreaking than most of us can fathom. In his memory, I want to leave you with words that I hope will resonate as deeply with you as they do with me. Alexei once said, "In war, nobody truly wins. We only lose pieces of ourselves, our loved ones, our humanity. My only victory would be peace, a day without fear, a world where we can all wake up without the shadow of despair. As we end today's episode, let's take a moment to honor Alexei and all those whose lives have been irrevocably altered by conflict. Their stories, their struggles, and their dreams should not be forgotten. Thank you for listening, for bearing witness to these narratives, and may peace find its way into the hearts and lands of all those suffering in conflict zones around the world.